Hi everyone, my name is Layla, and the book that I decided to do for our board book section is Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. It is by Bill Martin Jr. and John Archambault with illustrations by Lois Ellert. So if you've never read Chicka Chicka Boom Boom before, it's basically about all the letters of the alphabet depicted as real people, as children, climbing up a coconut tree. All of the letters go one by one, climbing up the coconut tree, and there is some foreshadowing in the illustrations that show the tree getting heavier and heavier as the letters climb up the tree. Once all of the letters get to the top of the coconut tree bends way far over and all of the letters fall onto the ground. All of them are injured. There says things like skinned knee D and stubbed toe E. They're all about to cry, and they're all scrambling to get up and go home because they all fell out of the coconut tree. Once they all get home, the sun goes down, the full moon comes up, and letter A goes back outside and begins to climb the coconut tree once again. It's a very simple story. The illustrations are all very bright and bold. The letters are all in lowercase and they're all different bright, bold colors. The coconut tree is visible on every page, and it's for the most part in the same spot on each page. Like I did say, there was some slight foreshadowing. You could see on the first page the coconut tree is sticking straight up as A, B, C go and start to climb it. And then a few pages later, you can see that the coconut tree is bent way over. And then, this is my favorite page, all of the letters fall off. This is the page that I think would be a good spot to stop and kind of assess where the students are at in the comprehension of the book. You could say, oh no, what happened? All of the letters fell off the tree. What letters do you see? It's a good way to kind of check where the students are at, if they're paying attention. This is about halfway through the book, so I think it would be a good pausing point. The genre is obviously fiction, children's literature. I don't think that needs much more explanation. The strengths and weaknesses of this book, it is, I think, a perfect book for teaching letters. It goes in alphabetical order. It's a very fun book. It can be very engaging. There's lots of rhyming words, things that can keep the students focused on the book. However, it is sort of long. I know these pages are thick, but it is kind of a long story. I work with kiddos who have autism, and if you want them to sit and listen to a whole story, this is not the story to read to them. For preschool, I know it is the first time a lot of students or kiddos have to sit for an extended period of time and pay attention to something, which is why a lot of the research that I did, this book came up more so for kindergartners, but it is technically for ages 3 and up, so it could be for preschoolers, which is why it would be important to pause the book while you're reading and say, oh, look at what's happening, and kind of get the kids engaged in a discussion about the book rather than just sitting there and reading the book all the way straight through and then talking about it. That could be considered a weakness of the book, is just the length of it. Another weakness that I noticed was, we talked about in class having a sort of moral of the story or lesson in every story. And for this one, the lesson you would think would be maybe don't climb up a tree with all your friends or else you'll all fall out. However, in the end of the story, letter A goes outside in the middle of the night and climbs back up the coconut tree. And kids do what they see. So we wouldn't want kids thinking that it's okay for them to climb up a tree in the middle of the night after falling out of it. So it might be a good idea in the end of the book to say, oh, do you think that was a good idea? Do you think letter A should have gone out and climbed back up the coconut tree? Maybe not. That wouldn't really be considered a weakness depending on how you think about it. I just thought that that might not be a very good thing to be teaching kids, that it's okay to climb trees in the middle of the night. So for classroom uses for this book, obviously it's a good way to teach the alphabet. I did do some research, like I said, and a lot of the activities that came up were activities for kindergartners. You could use them in preschool too, though. I did find coloring pages that were the coconut tree with all of the letters surrounding it, and kids could color in the coconut tree just as a fun little activity related to the book. I also saw a storyboard, so teacher could take portions of the book, maybe like 5 to 6 main parts, and have students put them in order as a way to work on reading comprehension and sequencing. And you could put, you know, the letters begin to climb the tree gets too heavy, all of the letters fall down, the sun goes down, the moon comes up, and then letter A begins climbing the tree again, and give it to the students, and they would have to put it in order of how the story goes. Other lessons that, or activities that you could do would be including other aspects of the story away from the alphabet, would be using a coconut or a coconut tree. Obviously, depending on where you are, you probably won't have access to a coconut tree, but you'll probably have access to coconuts. So you could bring a coconut into class and teach students about the 5 senses using the coconut. What does the coconut look like? What does it feel like when you touch it? What does it smell like? What do you think it tastes like on the inside? Or if you want to bring in coconut water or something, you know, kiddos would just have fun with it. And overall, it's a really engaging, colorful book to read to kiddos who are in preschool. It's a very popular book. It's just about on par with books such as The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Very popular, very well known. And if you read this book to your class, there might be a chance that some kiddos already know it because how popular it is. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed.